Good evening, I'm meteorologist Lisa Green here with an update on our wild and wacky weather that we've had today. Rain soaking so many places. We've had the wind that's been strong all day long, especially out west. And storms, those are fortunately winding down. Now we're concerned about snow. But I want to show you a photo of a funnel cloud that was taken in Foreman, North Dakota. Tammy Pearson grabbed this shot. She said she didn't see it touch the ground, but it was there for several minutes. Possibly more out there today with the environment itself spinning with that low pressure system rolling through. Any storms that popped up can sometimes touch off some weak funnels when it's quite spinny like that, if that's a word we could use with this system. Strong winds too associated with it. These are our peak wind speeds so far today. Langdon 56 miles per hour, 53 in Devil's Lake. We do have a high wind warning out there. I'll show you in a moment. Wind gusts that are currently happening right now into the mid to upper 40s to about 50 miles per hour at times, and that's going to stick around for the next few hours at least. The rest of us in the 20s and 30s. Winds, again, have been strong all day. This photo is from Stump Lake, North Dakota. Virginia Creech sent this in, of whitecaps on the shore of Stump Lake. An unpleasant day in that area today. Basically, for most of us, we've had an unpleasant day, whether you were dealing with strong storms and downpours or some strong wind and cold conditions, pretty raw in the northwestern viewing area. See all that blue over the last few frames of this loop? The rain trying to change over to snow right now. Our thunderstorm threats starting to wind down, so that's the good thing here. Low pressure is centered to the east of Fergus Falls, or right over Fergus Falls at this time as of this recording. It's going to continue moving northeastward. And it's on the backside of that low that we're concerned about the wind. The center of the low is there, but where you see each of those black lines, those are isobars, or lines of constant pressure. And when you see them close together like that, that means the pressure's changing pretty quickly over that area of land. So it's changing a lot faster than, say, the pressure down in South Dakota. And when pressure's changing rapidly, you know we get strong winds. And we do have those strong winds in eastern parts of North Dakota, specifically northeastern North Dakota. So that's cluing us into it if we weren't already knowing that we are dealing with that strong wind out there as you step out the door. So this precipitation spiraling around that low still. We're going to be on the backside of this pretty soon here in eastern North Dakota. In fact, some of us have been stuck with this kind of weather all day long, looking toward the Devil's Lake Basin. It's showing, the radar is showing some heavy snow. I believe that's probably overdoing it just a little bit. It's probably mistaking that snow that's starting to melt as being some heavy precipitation. But it will eventually start making its way to the ground. I looked at some North Dakota DOT cams, and they showed a little snow in some places out west, but not much at all, just a little bit on some of the grassy surfaces. Off to the east, the storms that were there have moved off into Canada and eastern parts of Minnesota into the Arrowhead. We still have some scattered rain showers in many parts of northern Minnesota and even southeastern North Dakota tonight. So some wild weather. We have some cold temperatures rolling in. 36 degrees as of the 7 o'clock hour in Devil's Lake. Candu has dropped down to the freezing mark at 32. And for the rest of the night tonight, we'll continue to watch those temperatures dip. By 3 a.m., the rain changes over to snow, or starts to, in the Central Valley, especially by the time we're waking up in Grand Forks at 5 a.m. tomorrow. We may be seeing some snowflakes at that point. Fargo-Moorhead kind of in that mix still, with some rain off in the far east. The transition's going to be kind of a little bit wishy-washy in between, but certainly a chance there for seeing some snowflakes in the morning hours. As the low departs, we'll start to get some drier air moving in, so the snow won't be as widespread as it moves eastward, but don't be surprised if you see some flakes tomorrow morning. This is 9 o'clock in the morning. Fargo-Moorhead may be dealing with some snow then, up toward Lake of the Woods as well. Temperatures flirting very close with the freezing mark across much of the region. We may be dealing with some frost in a couple of places, especially if there's a little bit of clearing, and a freeze warning out to the west. We'll get to those headlines in a moment. Those snow showers off and on and isolated continue through the morning hours, eventually switching over to rain as those temperatures climb just a little bit, but not much. Our highs will only be in the upper 30s to low 40s, and that's it tomorrow. Factor in the wind, which will stay strong through the nighttime hours and tomorrow. We've got a very raw Monday to start off our work week. Eventually things quiet down. We'll clear out tomorrow night, but that of course means a cold night ahead. before we get a little bit or a lot of a break from this moisture we've been dealing with. So here's a look at our snowfall potential. Best bet, Devil's Lake Basin. If we get this rain to switch over to snow much sooner, we'll be seeing several more inches of snow. Right now, we could be getting anywhere from that 1 to 4 inch range there, and then that drops off quickly over toward the Central Valley where we may just see a couple of flakes flying, but temperatures will be too warm for it to stick, really. As we look at our liquid potential, that's rain and melted snow. Still a lot of moisture out there. This is until 9 o'clock Monday night. We may see ½ inch, maybe even up to an inch with some of those heavier rain showers that are still into Minnesota. So several headlines, several alerts. High wind warning until 11 o'clock tonight for the Devil's Lake Basin. Winds gusting into the 50s and may even get as high as 65 miles per hour. And waves on the lake, on Devil's Lake, could get as high as 5 to 8 feet. So not a great night there. Wind advisory until 1 p.m. for much of the rest of eastern North Dakota and our counties in Minnesota along the Red River. We also have a winter weather advisory in effect until 7 a.m. for the Devil's Lake Basin. That's because we're expecting accumulating snow in addition to that strong wind. And a freeze warning in effect for much of western North Dakota. Jamestown extending down Highway 281 to Ellendale. You are also under that freeze warning. Temperatures there dropping down to 32 or even below the freeze mark. So if you have some tender vegetation, some potted plants, cover them up or bring them inside tonight. And I would give that recommendation to just about everybody in the valley with temperatures as close as they will be to freezing. Flood advisory also in effect for the James River Valley for inches upon inches of rain that have fallen in that area and in many parts of the valley, and a flood watch for the Two Rivers River in Kittson County in Minnesota. So a lot going on with this system. It's still impacting us. We're moving into the, I guess, winter phase of this storm now with the cold air moving in, the wind, and the snow. It will not be great travel, especially in the Devil's Lake Basin. And maybe slippery, maybe slushy visibility where this snow is falling because of that wind, going to be very low, close to near zero at times. So be careful if you're traveling. Make sure you still have that winter survival kit with you in your car. And you'll need your winter coat as you step out the door tomorrow, no matter where you are in the valley. Eventually, things will start to dry out.